Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. This article comes to you guys from RCR Wireless. I will leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So, the big question for quite some time now is what's next for T Mobile. And in a sense, that will always be the question, right? That's just the natural progression for any carrier, really. That's what the analysts are always asking. Okay, what's next beyond what you have guided? So that's always a curiosity in the industry from from wireless enthusiasts, from the analyst perspective, a stock perspective. It's always going to be the question, what's next? So a big part of the next phase was, of course, the additional 2.5 spectrum. They got that cleared finally. They're putting that on air. Most of that now, 90% of that should be on air and being put to use from a monetization perspective. Lots of growing, lots of share taking still happening. But now that that's kind of settling in, 2.5 is now, at least with the auction 108 spectrum, it's being deployed. It's more contiguous now. They have more spectrum in the white spaces, small market, rural areas. So now again, the next question is, okay, what's the next phase here? How do you grow beyond the guided numbers that you have? And that's what I wanted to discuss in this video and elaborate a bit further. So they do still have C-band and Department of Defense spectrum in their arsenal, but that's not, let's call it what it is. It's not a national spectrum. They don't have that license in every inch of the country. I'll just clarify it again. C-band covers 225 million pops, and the DoD spectrum covers 175 million pops. So it's not national. It doesn't cover the entire landmass of the United States. So T-Mobile will pick and choose where they deploy that at the beginning. If it's super high capacity sites that need, or super high traffic utilization sites that need it, T-Mobile will deploy it there. But they have, as at least as far as I know at this time, T-Mobile does not have a plan to deploy that in, let's say the top 50 markets on every site. They don't have any plans like that at this time. It's still being deployed on some sites for testing purpose, and then eventually they will start slowly but surely rolling that out in stages. But it doesn't add, how can I say this the right way? It's not going to add a huge amounts of success additionally to T-Mobile. T-Mobile is already growing. 2.5 is already taking on the big, right, the huge usage or load, whatever you want to call it. It's taking that on. And C-band and DoD will help with that, but it's not going to take T-Mobile, I feel, to this next level that they need to go to. I feel this next level that they need to go to will come from several other things, right? Reliability is one. T-Mobile has already been fast. They've already been doing the whole Ookla thing, winning that, the average speeds. They've been doing that even during LTE when they had the least amount of customers compared to AT&T and Verizon. T-Mobile was already better on speeds in many cases. They just had more spectrum per customer. So they were naturally, by default, going to be faster. But there are several other things now that they need to take into consideration that they need to do better. The reliability piece that I was speaking of, the redundancy, right? Starting from a point of behind with the backup gens, they need to get that to more sites. And I know that's going to take a time to scale because they are starting from that point of being behind. So to even get to a solid percentage of sites having backup generators, T-Mobile will have to work through that over several years and make an investment towards that to get that to a respectable percentage. And that's what I speak of, right? The speeds, whatever. The capacity, of course, it's important. It allows them to grow. But now they need to take that step in that direction, right? The redundancy. They need to get with the third-party fiber providers and say, hey, look, what can we do? Excuse me. Or what can we pay, right, to build some additional redundancy into the circuit? It's going to be costly, I'm told, but they are taking steps towards that as well, to where there's at least somewhat of a redundancy if there's a fiber cut or if there's ever an outage from the third party. And there are several other things right now when you're talking the reliability piece, right? Coverage. That's also a very important piece, I feel, for this next phase of T-Mobile. If you want to have, and there's really no way around it anymore for T-Mobile. If they want to have coverage, native coverage in city X, Y, and Z, they are going to have to go build. They're going to have to build new towers. They're going to have to invest. And hopefully this go around, when they build these new sites, I'm hoping they come with cabinets, the newest. I hope they come with the backup gens. I hope they come with that redundancy that everyone has been looking for. I hope that they come with that from the start, not building that and then later on sometime we'll deploy that. No, everything gets that in, all in one investment and then deployed all to the site. But yes, in order for them to grow the coverage in those small market and rural areas, to get to that where they can compete in 100% of those areas, they are going to have to deploy new sites. And they acknowledge that very well. But there is more work needed to get to that next phase of where everyone might think that T-Mobile needs to get to. There is more needed besides just, the spectrum piece and then putting that on the sites and the speed crown. There are additional steps that T-Mobile needs to take to really take T-Mobile overall to the next level. And once they complete that, once they have a respectable percentage of sites with backup generators, once they have additional redundancy built into the circuits with the third party, once they actually build that coverage where they really compete within like the small market and rural areas, where they actually build outwards and they cover the cities, they bring the retail distribution, then I feel now is the next step for them to really get those higher profile businesses, those government agencies, those bigger accounts. That's when I would feel more comfortable with them going after that in a bigger way. They're already doing that now, and that's fine, right? You got to get into the mind share. You got to get the perception out there. So they're already competing for that now, technically. But I would feel more comfortable with the reliability piece being at a much higher percentage. T-Mobile calls it the project hardening, whatever. It's needed. It's needed in the network. And as of this month, actually, it's the 4-year anniversary of the T-Mobile and Sprint merger. So we have seen T-Mobile do a lot of work over the last 4 years. But the next 4 years, I feel, and this is just me, are the most important. What can they achieve over the next 4 years? So that would be 2028. Can they achieve that higher percentage or that respectable percentage of towers having backup generators? Can they achieve the circuits having that redundancy? Will they have a substantially bigger coverage footprint over the next 4 years? That's the big, billion-dollar question here, because it's going to take a lot. It's going to take billions to get there. But if they do that with the mindset of still coming from behind, competing like they are, they're not really the Un-carrier anymore. But hell, if they take that mindset, why not, right? If they still want to do some other moves, be innovative, whatever, they still have to be, right. They don't have substantial share yet on small market rural areas. They still need big share on government agencies, big enterprise. They still lag behind. So there are still several business segments that they analyze internally, like the 55 and over pool. They look at that. They want more share there. They look at the military discount that they offer. They see, hey, we offer 40% off for the military members. What's the percentage of share on that? They look at all of that, by the way. So that's what I feel is the next phase for T-Mobile. And in my opinion, if they don't really get there, then there's really no next phase, because I I expect that from them now. Being the bigger company, having more money, I expect them to do all those things in the next phase of T-Mobile. I know early on when they first closed the merger, I know the most important thing was the integration of the networks. And if that meant not putting backup gens because they need to get this 2.5 on the T-Mobile sites and then they need to convert the Sprint sites, then so be it, right? But that's mostly complete now. So now the next phase, they need to do all those things. Redundancy, 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 build the coverage. And I know they've already done that too, but they need to build more of it. There's more sites that need more areas that need co-locations. They need to build brand new sites still. They have a lot of work still left to do that we don't see, right? We only see what's within our cities and counties, but there are still counties in Montana, Nebraska, and all over the place that lag behind other places. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just wanted to share what I feel the next phase for T-Mobile is. It isn't more speed or 10 gig circuits, in my opinion. I feel it's the backup gens, the redundancy, new sites, coverage. That's what I think the next phase for T-Mobile needs to be, so they can go and compete for the more higher profiled customer. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one. Peace.